Hey movie freaks, it's American Movie Freak Tracy here. Just got back from the theater. I got to see Insidious, The Red Door. Let's talk about a little bit of the details. This movie is rated PG-13 for violence, terror, frightening images, strong language, and some suggestive references. The runtime for this film is 1 hour and 47 minutes. Now, this film opened this past Friday, July 7th, so it's only been open for a couple of days. And I just looked at the gross earning figures for the film before doing the review. Unfortunately, it didn't show today's stats yet. It opened early in some theaters on Thursday, July 6th. However, the official worldwide opening for the film was Friday, July 7th. But as of the end of day Friday, the film had already earned a little over $15 million and is the top grossing film for the weekend so far. We still have Saturday and Sunday to go, so we'll see, but it's doing pretty well in the theaters. Now, for those who are fans of the film, you know that the original first Insidious film opened in the year 2010. This is the fifth film in the series. Now, it's interesting to note that this current film takes place 9 years after the last film. And in the end of the fourth installment film, the father, Josh Lambert, and the son, Dalton Lambert, both had the ability to astral project into this place that they call the Further. Well, at the end of the previous film, they decide that it's important to forget about all that because there was a lot of trauma that happened as a result. And so they have a hypnotist erase their memories. And so the wife has to basically lie to her husband and also to her oldest son, who was the subject of these possessions that were going on in the first four films. So they basically tell Dalton that he was in a coma for an entire year, and so he has no memory of any of that, and neither does the father, Josh. And let's talk a little bit about who stars in the film. This installment of Insidious stars Patrick Wilson as Josh Lambert. Ty Simpkins reprises his role as Dalton Lambert. Rose Byrne also comes back in this one as Renee Lambert. And the absence of Barbara Hershey's character, the grandmother, is noticeable in here, but they handle that in the beginning of the film and why she's not there. You also get a brief cameo from Lynn Shay, who of course plays Elise Rainier in the film. She shows up a couple of times, but is more of a minor role, as does Rose Byrne's role. Hers is a little bit minor here. So the main characters in this film are played by Patrick Wilson and Ty Simpkins. Now the story kind of recaps what happens at the end of the previous film and shows them losing their memory. Fast forward 9 years, even though it's only in our time, it's only been 5 years time. The film actually goes forward 9 years, and now Dalton has just graduated from high school. He's getting ready to go to college. Josh Lambert, the father, is now divorced from Rose Byrne's character, Renee Lambert. The father, Josh Lambert's also estranged from his son, Dalton, and not quite as estranged from the other two children, but he's not around as much as he wants to be. And he's struggling with some issues that he's not understanding why. And so that's kind of where the film starts. And he's trying to figure out why he can't remember things. And he starts to go to doctors and try to figure that out. Now, I really liked the movie because I've mentioned this before in previous films. I like thrillers and horror films. This one had a couple of spots in the first probably hour. I did jump at least once and was surprised by maybe another one. And so in that respect, I liked it because it was unexpected in some of the spots. And that is the measure of a good horror or thriller film for me. I thought it started out really strong. I mentioned that Dalton Lambert goes to college here. He goes to the same college that his father went to. It's a film about fathers' relationships with sons. And of course, I mentioned it's strained. Dalton's father, Josh, tries to do something about it. Renee Lambert mentions to Josh that Dalton needs to go to college the next week and suggests that maybe as his father. So Josh drives Dalton to college, and when they get there, they go into the dorm, and he's the first one there, so he gets to pick his bed. He's in there, and then all of a sudden, this girl comes in, and her name is Chris Winslow, played by Sinclair Daniel, and she's mistakenly given that room because they're not supposed to have co-ed rooms. She's in there, and then she goes to try to straighten that out, and when she comes back, she's like, well, they said I'm stuck for tonight, so I gotta sleep here. So they become friends, and this becomes part of the film. Now, Sinclair Winslow does a great job in this film. She's a great choice for the comic relief. She's very funny. She delivers her lines well and really complements this film, I think, and is one of really the highlights of the film. I enjoyed the movie, the way it flowed, the idea of it, and the resolution. I'm not going to get into details, obviously, because I want you to be able to go and see it. I rate this film a 7.5. I think it's a good ending to the series. It's not as good as some of the others, but it had its bright spots and did a good job of bringing back the old feel of the previous films that were so successful and creepy and scary. Not throughout the film, I don't think, but a little bit better than the last couple films. Some critics will say that the Insidious movies have kind of gone downhill a little bit, and I think that's one of the reasons why the studio is ending this series here. Although we probably won't see Insidious the way it has been shown in the past with the current characters, it appears that the studio is gearing up to do a spin-off series. At least one person signed to do this spin-off, and it's going to be called Thread, an Insidious story. At least that's the working title for now, and it will star Mandy Moore. But that's my review for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again for tuning in. If you'd like to leave a comment for me, please do. You can send it to AmericanMovieFreaks@protonmail.com or put one in the comments below. Thanks so much. I really enjoy seeing the movies and providing reviews for you to watch, and I hope you do as well. And maybe before the next one, I'll see you at the show.